raising those items.
All right. Well, y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Hey, you're on the Real News.
Hey guys, it's good to talk to y'all again. I want to relate two stories that I heard just this last month. One was from a federal youth marshal that is a personal friend, and they have been training him and a group of his fellow officers to work throughout the United States here to help control some civil disorder, and the basis of it is related to one of two things: either martial law being imposed or collection of the firearms of the citizens of the United States. And I thought that was strange, and I said, I know this guy personally, and I said, wow, are they serious? He said, listen, he said, that we're out working right now, setting up the system for either dealing with taking over martial law on the basis that there may be some problems arising from Barack Obama's election, or from the potential that they're going after guns. And then I said, well, that's pretty interesting. I truly believe it, but it's just training. I spoke to a friend of mine who deals with the personnel at Fort Bragg, and one of the generals is a customer of his, was telling him that he has his troops deployed in 12 different cities right now, and for the last 3 months, all they've been doing is training and setting up for taking over and establishing martial law. And I thought it was interesting because here's two different sources of that would be connecting in some degree on the same topic. Have you guys heard anything, or do you have any feel for this?
Well, it started with 3,000 troops coming home. Now it's up to, is it 20 or 30,000? And the mainstream press is covering these stories now. It's been in the New York Times, New York Post. I even seen it on CNN. So, they're telling us they are preparing for civil unrest in America if this economy collapses or whatever they might have in store for us. So,
I tie this in too, and not to interrupt, but I tie this in too with the topic of the camps that they have built that are already manned for housing people, and I'm not going to say what purpose, because now I have so many different opinions about where and why they might be, but we know these camps are a real fact. And now when I hear, these are guys, both of them are secondhand stories to me, but there's no reason for these men to create these fabricated stories. And from the general standpoint, they've been seriously entrenching these soldiers in 12 what they consider to be critical locations for controlling the masses. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's one of the beautiful things about this venue here. We have an opportunity to express opinions, but as well as to enlighten the public to some of the things that seem so unbelievable to be happening in our society, and yet that they're going on right under our nose. I'm having the hardest time digesting the 9/11 theories, but I have to believe that with all the research and all the documentation and all the first-hand witnessing, there's credibility to this. And I know you fellas' level of integrity is such that it's hard to even question the fact that it is a reality. And to be able to voice ourselves and then hear feedback during the week from people that are telling what they know to be the accuracy, the truth, it's unnerving in our society. But it's a good thing, because otherwise, to follow the leader mentality of our society is going to be one of our major detriments.
There's red flags all over this society. Just 9/11 alone, you look at all the anomalies in the official story, the destruction of our civil liberties, the Constitution, bringing troops home, the obvious conspiracy to destroy the United States dollar. I mean, there's just red flags everywhere, and as long as the American people ignore it and don't do something about it, it's going to happen, period.
We appreciate you calling, sir. We got 2 minutes before we go off the air, and we got a couple. Hey, thank you. Call
Thanks.
back anytime, and we had a couple of informed callers. This year, from the time we started, March 1st to now, like you said earlier, just incredible, all the different guests, some of the things we've done. Really enjoyed it. Looking forward to it next year. And on our website's therealnewsradio.com. Of course, you can email us on air at therealnewsradio.com. Any of the videos that we've played during the broadcast are on on our website under featured videos. And every week we have a poll on our website, Hypocrite of the Week, and we get our contestants from our broadcast of that week. And this week the contestants are the fascist police that trampled a member of the Iraq veterans against the war at the RNC, California's highway patrol using Marines at checkpoints, Henry Kissinger, a Bilderberger, trilateralist and CFR member calling for a new world order, the military-industrial complex profiteering off of death, and the United Way so-called charity pocketing millions. And our winner is the fascist police that trampled a member of the Iraq veterans against the war at the RNC. That's something else, Brian, totally unreported. But I guess, like I say, if we had to go back and look at the whole year, Larry Pratt, having him on, David Walker, we interviewed Ron Paul twice,
Dennis Kucinich, I mean, the list goes on and on.
It was, and Virginia Fox, the last time we had her in here for an hour, I thought that was great. The public was able to call in.
And people also have asked me, well, how do you get these guests? You guys are just a couple schmucks there down there. It's because these people are looking for a forum to tell the truth, and mainstream media will not give it to them.
Exactly. And like I've said all year long, one of the main things I wanted to do was give the public a forum, just like our last two callers, where they could call in and say what's on their mind. You know, whatever it is, whether they agree with us or disagree, they have a forum to voice their opinion, and there's not a lot of that available to them. I mean, other than writing a letter to the editor, something like that, that's really about all you can do. And here we can discuss our politics or the sad state of our government, because just to go into it briefly, these bailouts, which is a movement in socialism by definition, if they do bail out Ford, Chevy, and Dodge, who's going to buy their cars? As our economy continues to worsen, and
well, the reason they're in bad shape to begin with is because no one would buy their cars. So.
Yes, and the failure of the management of the companies. And before we go, like we've commented on, in the last 2 months, we have just seen gigantic steps toward the American people blatantly being shown that the government totally disregards the will of the people, And it's sad. But again, if you email us on air at therealnewsradio.com, our website's therealnewsradio.com. We'll be back next week, January 4th. We don't have guests lined up, so maybe we'll have more time to take phone calls. Of course, that's always subject to change. But again, before we go off the air, I would like to thank everyone. Brian, Ty, Devin, Jim's been our cameraman. He uploads all the video to YouTube, handles that. It's a big undertaking. I'm sure he gets aggravated at times with all that. Mark and Billy for giving us a chance when I first came and talked to them about this. I think they were a little bit hesitant, but hopefully they have enjoyed it and give us this opportunity to give the people a forum to discuss the issues of today. So until next week, this is Farron and Brian, the Real News crew, saying, God help us all.